So welcome back to a brand new video, and in this video I'm going to be giving you one of the most in-depth trainings on SMMA outreach and signing clients for your social media marketing agency that you've ever seen on YouTube and probably in paid content as well. So grab something to drink, grab a notebook and a pen, and I'm going to be getting straight into my computer because I've got a step-by-step training for you. So I'm super excited for this video. This is going to set you up for 2021. Pretty good timing because we're just at the start, so you can start getting results with your social media marketing agency, get ahead and make this year your best ever year. And so I'm not one to waste time. I want to get straight into the juice, and without further ado, let's jump into my computer. 7 proven ways to sign SMMA clients in 2021. I've got a bit of a weird setup here. My new mic hasn't come through yet. There's a replacement mic. I'm changing boom arm as well. So I'm literally resting my microphone on a pile of books. Hopefully the audio is it's not too bad though. But getting back to the presentation, 7 proven ways to sign SMMA clients in 2021. Let's get right into it. But before we get right into the action, if you're not new to my channel, you obviously know that I'm a big fan of battle-tested concepts. The strategies, the growth hacks, the tactics that I share with you on this channel is not rejuvenated stuff I watched somewhere or I read in a book, right? The strategies that I share with you on my channel are literally the byproduct of me putting my head down for 2+ years, battle testing these concepts with clients, with my own clients, with the marketplace, with prospects, right? Growing really cool online brands, right? Testing a bunch of different things with these brands, and just like a nerd, building really cool shit for the past 2+ years and sharing those strategies with you on my channel. Okay, so you'll never find me talking about something that I haven't done myself. You'll never find me preaching about something, right? Or sharing with you something that I don't know 100% that it works, right? And so if you're anything like me, you probably value your time quite a bit, right? And you want to make sure that you're investing your time wisely. Okay? And that usually comes down to making sure that the people that you're listening to, the content that you're consuming is battle tested, and that the people imparting this content have actually walked the talk. Okay? And so I just want to show you real quick some of the results that the methods that I'm about to share with you have yielded in the past, just to show you that this stuff works, right? And also just to get you a bit excited before we get right into the juice. So essentially we've got 26 meetings in 30 days in November with these strategies. Then we've got 34 meetings in 31 days in January. We've also got 46 meetings in 29 days in February, and we've got 44 meetings in 22 days in March. And I haven't included it in the slideshow, but as of recently, we actually crossed the 100+ meetings per month. I will leave the screenshot on the screen so you guys can see that, but essentially the results that I just showed you are only getting better and better. So hopefully you know that this stuff works. Now, with that being said, let's get right into it. But before we begin, I just want to make sure you've set up your scheduler, because this is going to be quite an important part of any sales strategy when it comes to selling a service, when it comes to a B2B service. So the first thing that you need to understand is we're going to have to jump on a call with a prospect before closing them. It's not like an e-commerce brand where you can just close someone by driving them to a landing page or whatever, right? This is a high-ticket service, so we need to jump on a call with them, right? We need to connect with them. We need to build rapport. They need to see our face before they actually jump on board. So the reason why we're going to set up your scheduler is because, first of all, there's not going to be a back and forth, right? The outreach methods we cover now are aimed to get the prospect on a call. Just like I said, with the scheduler, they can actually choose a time of their choice, which actually decreases a ton of complexity and friction from the equation, and it looks a lot more professional because you guys are not having to go back and forth saying, hey, does Friday at 8 p.m. work for you? No. Well, does Monday at 4 p.m. work for you? No. Instead, we've got a scheduler. They can just book in a time with you, and I've left here a little GIF that you guys can see of my scheduler, where someone could just book in a call. As you can see, the automated sales funnel is working quite well because my next time slot is Saturday. I'm actually recording this on Wednesday, but the next time available will be January 23rd, which is a few days from now, and then the next time available will be in 2 weeks. So that's just to give you a bit of an idea as to what can happen when you have an automated sales funnel when you use the outreach methods correctly that I'm about to share with you. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the actual scheduler that you're going to be using. I recommend Acuity Scheduler. There will be a link to it in the description. It is an affiliate link. I'm very transparent about it. But if you enjoy the content that you're watching, if you want to support the channel, obviously you would use my affiliate link. I would think so, right? So go ahead and check out the link in the description. If you're going to get Acuity, go ahead and get it through that link. Or if you don't, that's completely fine as well. But essentially, I've used other softwares in the past when it comes to scheduling. I've used Candidly for a while. What I like about Acuity is the fact that it gives you way more personalization features. So for example, when it comes to sending reminders, sending emails, the look and feel of the actual landing page for the scheduler, that to me is very important because branding, I believe, is quite important when it comes to agencies. If you want to sign premium clients, you want to make sure you have a premium look to your agency. And then there's all other things like, for example, being able to add a Facebook pixel to it that Acuity allows you to do, which Calendly doesn't. So I personally recommend Acuity. I think it's like $3 extra, but it's definitely worth it in my opinion. So that's really the first thing that we want to do. A few things about the actual event that we want to create so far. For now, you really just need to create one single event. It could be a discovery call, demo call, breakthrough session, whatever you want to call it. I call it discovery call, but I've also called it demo call in the past. And that's the only thing you really need. Also, make sure you add a picture of yourself. People connect with people, and especially in the B2B service business, you need to make sure you show your face, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. I know that a few of you may already have done that, so let's get straight into the juice. Here are the outreach methods that we are going to be covering. The first one is the video audit method. Most people that actually do this go just completely wrong about it. So that is that. Then we've got the network method. We've also got the Instagram method, LinkedIn, cold email, Facebook, and strategic partnerships. So we've got 7 very, very solid methods that we're going to be diving deep into in just a second. Now, here's what we're going to be covering. Firstly, email outreach. It's a one-dimensional problem and how to overcome it to be successful. Then we've got the video audit, its purpose and what to say exactly. Also LinkedIn, the duality of the platform and how to ease the messaging. We've also got Instagram, the video intro method and the story and highlights bliss. Facebook, the native platform and groups, network effect, exponential effect, and what to ask for. And then we're going to wrap things up with strategic partnerships, how to grow collaboratively and who to pick for your strategic partnerships. Finally, we're going to wrap the whole video up by talking about the musts that you need to implement to succeed with your outreach. You want to make sure you keep this in mind if you are to be successful, and most people don't implement any of the things that I cover on that section. So you want to make sure you stick around till the end. So with that being said, let's go right into cold email. Now, the first thing that you need to understand is the context, right? Is the context of the platform that we are going to be using. And this is going to be incredibly vital for being successful with all the platforms that we're going to be covering. The problem with email is this one-dimensional landscape. And what I mean by that is when you send someone an email, the only thing they can really see is the text of that email. Maybe if you have a signature, they can check out your LinkedIn profile or your website, but they cannot attach a face to that email. It's very one-dimensional. There's no profile funnel, which we'll talk about in just a second. So what you want to make sure you do when it comes to cold email is you want to make sure you show your face by being value-driven. The best way of doing this is doing a video audit, which I'll talk about in just a second, exactly how to do that, right? You could either send a video audit to those prospects, or you could work to the point where you have what I call a warm video audit. And what that means is you've approached this client, right? Not with a video audit, so you haven't invested a ton of energy into them, because otherwise you're going to be wasting a lot of time, like most agency owners every single day, sending hundreds of cold emails to prospects that don't care about them, right? Instead, you're going to reach out to them, right? You're going to add value. You're going to tell them exactly what's included in the video audit, but then you're going to ask for permission to send over the video audit, right? Or you're going to ask if they're interested in seeing this. Once they say they're interested, then you're going to go ahead and send that video audit, okay? So the 2 things that I want you to take away from the cold email strategy is, number 1, understanding the fact that it's one-dimensional, okay? So we need to make sure that we attach a face to the outreach as soon as possible. And the way I like to do that is with a video component, okay? The best way, in my opinion, especially for beginning agency owners, you could have, for example, a case study or a booking page funnel, but a really good strategy for beginner agency owners that decreases a ton of complexity is creating a video audit. So with that being said, how do we create this video audit? How do we go about this? The first thing is understanding what it consists of. Essentially, what we do is we send a 5 to 10 minute screen recording to our prospect, going over their current digital marketing strategy and how they're currently doing it in our area of expertise. We'll be using Loom. It looks like this, like the video I just added here on the side. And the great thing about Loom is that it gives us instant URL access to our video recording. So we can record a video and instantly it will be uploaded to the Loom platform. And then Loom will give you a URL access to it. So you can actually share this with pretty much anyone in the world, right? Which is great for deliverability for our clients. And the great thing as well is the fact that it's actually free up to, I believe, 100 videos. Now, here is what we will cover. We're going to pick their closest competitor who's implementing the service we offer and compare it to our prospect's lack of implementation. A lot of people do this wrong. They go ahead and they shoot a video on maybe their current social standing, maybe their socials, right? Their Instagram, their Facebook. Maybe they go into the Facebook ad library where the prospect is running their Facebook ads. They talk about their Facebook ads. But what you need to understand is that, especially if they're not doing a good job, right? It's very hard for them to visualize what success would look like. And there's no emotion attached to it. So what you want to do is you want to bring emotion to it, okay? And you also want to show them what is possible if you go ahead and you come in and you do this for them. Make sense? So that is why a competitor analysis is so much more effective, because you're showing them what a competitor of theirs that is close to their heart, they probably know of, is doing. They already know that competitor is more successful than them, and so it's very easy for them to tie the knots, right? It's very easy for them to say, okay, they're doing this, right? And because they're doing this, they're more successful than us. Thus, we need to make sure we sort this out as soon as possible. This guy clearly understands who our competitors are. This guy clearly understands what our weaknesses are. This guy clearly understands what the competitor strengths are. Clearly, he's a good fit to jump on a call and discuss this further. That is why competitor analysis is much more effective. Now, again, a bit of an example, battle tested. These are battle tested video audits, and the methods and the strategies that I've learned from sending out more than 335 videos. I actually took a screenshot of this a while ago, so it's probably close to 370, 380, potentially 400 video audits at this point. So quite a lot of looms sent. Now, here are some of the results and just feedback that I've been getting on my video audits, just to give you a bit of an idea. Whoa, congrats on a super impressive video. We've also got Swaroop saying he'd love to discuss more, and he really appreciates the effort you've put into making the video for us. Truly commendable, he says, and very refreshing to see such approach. Now we've got Melissa, really enjoyed your video. That was really awesome of you. Okay. We've also got Kathleen saying, quite impressed and appreciate the time you took to do that. Went on to sign her as a client. We've also got Shadi. I'd love to thank you for the video you've shared regarding the social audit. Very rich with a lot of insights and beneficial for our company. It'd be great to arrange a call, he says. Matthew, I'm quite impressed, to be honest. Not one person has ever thought outside the box and made a video to give me value for free. Very clever and very cool. We've got Marina. That was on point for the point presentation. I'm not sure what she meant by that, but essentially very, very happy to see it. Also very happy that we got the competitor literally nail on the head, right? For them goes Birkenstock, so you can kind of imagine what type of niche they are in. But you get the point. When they see a competitor, when they see their top competitor, and you analyze their top competitor, and then you compare that to what they're currently doing, that is a much more powerful approach. So here's a few keys to master the video audit outreach. First one is deliverability is everything. Before putting together the video audit, make sure you can get a hold of the decision maker. Otherwise, you're going to risk wasting your time. That is particularly important if you send the video straight away, meaning it's just a cold video audit. The second thing is you want to turn a cold video audit into a warm video audit. I covered this very briefly before, but essentially you can either start a conversation with them prior to recording or ask them straight away if they would be interested in seeing a video of their current marketing strategy before sending it. This hack is killer because it's not a fake audit, right? You're not trying to bait them or essentially lie to them, which never lands well on any business owner, right? Honesty and transparency are keys in just key values in life, but also key in signing clients. Okay, I've literally had clients that have signed on because I was so raw and honest. For example, for one of our clients that I signed on, I literally told them in the call that we wouldn't be able to get them the type of results that they were expecting. And the reason why that was is because a lot of agencies, while they were trying to sign them, right, they had talked about this incredible, just insane and very unrealistic goals and objectives that they would be hitting with their strategy, right? And so I just very honestly told them, like, look, if anyone's telling you can do this, they're completely, it's bullshit, right? We can do this, we can follow this process, we can set this type of benchmarks, and maybe in 18, 24 months we can be at that point, but getting to that point in 6 months is just unrealistic. It's going to lead to burnout. It's going to lead to, for example, optimizing for short-term profit, which is never good for long-term growth for the business, etc., etc. And that radical honesty and transparency won them over. My point is, obviously, there's a bunch of things that obviously won them over, and you can't just be very honest and transparent if you don't have your shit together. But my point is, radical honesty and transparency are key when it comes to signing clients and when it comes to doing business in general. So that is that. Now, the third thing is you want to make sure you get them to a meeting. We're not trying to close the prospect via message or a call. And I'll talk about this at the very end of the training, the fact that we're not trying to close any prospect via message or call. We need to jump on a Zoom video call with them because that is a high income scenario. That is a place, an ecosystem where you can actually close those big deals. And the final thing is the intro is key. So here's where your prospects will decide whether they want to listen to the rest of the video audit. And you want to make sure you have the first 1 to 3 minutes perfected. Okay, the video audit shouldn't take longer than 7-10 minutes. And you want to make sure the first 1 to 3 minutes, they sound They sound realistic, right? It shouldn't sound like you're reading from a script, but you should have them perfected, psychologically very powerful, and you should really be able to overcome some of the limiting beliefs that they have going into this video audit. Like, am I gonna waste my time? Is this content valuable at all, right? For example, is this content going to be around forever? So is there any type of urgency attached to this video on it? You want to make sure you cover those at the very start, so they're actually tuned in, hooked into watching the video. So I've actually gone ahead and left here a little script that you can use for your video audits. Merry Christmas, very late Merry Christmas. But essentially, this script is proven to work. It is absolutely amazing, and make it yours, right? I don't think you should ever copy a template or script. I think it actually makes you less powerful, simply because you're not using your own words. And if there's one thing about sales that completely kills a sale, is not being congruent throughout the whole sales journey. So if you speak to the client in a very specific way in a video audit, and then you jump on a call and they realize that you're a completely different person, then it's not so much the difference in tonality or the difference in the words you're using. It's more about the lack of congruence, regarding how you sounded like at the start and how you sound like on a call. So make it yours, but essentially the psychology behind it is incredibly powerful. What I say is, hey, prospect's name, it's Jaime here from Mogul C, and it's great meeting you. I've gone ahead and created an in-depth marketing audit on whatever business, Nike, where I've included 1 to 2 pieces of actionable strategies. Why are these valuable? Well, these are strategies we're implementing right now for all of our clients to create the outcome that your service produces. Okay. Obviously, I only say this if you have clients. Again, transparency, honesty are top of my list of values, should be top of your list of values if you're trying to have any success in business, in life, in SMMA. And these are strategies you can immediately apply. So there's urgency to it, right? And it's very actionable. Right after this quick audit to make incredible returns and recoup some of the revenue lost at the moment. Again, urgency, right? There's revenue lost at the moment, gets their attention, right? And then I'm telling them that if they watch this video audit, they're going to be able to almost solve this immediately by implementing them on their business. So without further ado, let's go right into it. That is a very a phrase that I like to use quite a lot, as you guys can probably tell from the intro of this video. But that is a little script that you can use for your video audits to really kickstart your video audit with a bang. So that is that for cold email. That is that for video audits. Now let's talk about LinkedIn. But before we get into the next method, I'd really appreciate if you made that ugly looking gray like button, the one you literally see right there on the right of your screen. You go ahead and make that turn blue because it helps out a ton with the algorithm. The YouTube gods just find it extremely sexy when they see that blue, and I'd really appreciate it. And with that being said, let's get back into the video. When it comes to LinkedIn outreach, it's all about building rapport, because people are on LinkedIn to connect with people, right? They're on LinkedIn to grow their network. They're on LinkedIn to do business. But again, we need to understand the context of the platform. You want to make sure you build the connection first. There's a bunch of ways that you can do that. The first way is obviously connecting with them. The second way could be endorsing their skills. The third way could be liking their content. The fourth way is engaging with them on their wall, etc., etc. But once you've done that, you can actually go for the value-based call straight away. And what I mean by that is you don't actually have to have a video component. You can, right? You can for specific prospects, but you can actually go straight for the call. And the reason why that is because, number one, you've built rapport, right? And that is what social media platforms are for. We are understanding the power of these platforms and the context of these platforms. And number two, we've got a profile funnel, which I'll talk about just the power of it in just a second. The final thing that I want to say on that topic of going straight for the call with this prospect is that you want to make sure it is a free demo call, a free consultation call, instead of a let's see if you're the right fit to work with us type of call, right? If you use the latter, then you're probably going to close a lot less calls. If you use the former and you make it value-based, you're going to be able to close a lot more calls. Obviously, the calls are going to be structured differently. I know that a lot of agency owners go straight into a call, and all they do is they ask vetting questions, right? Where it's just very, very salesy. And what I like to do is, yes, you want to make sure you have a straight path to the sale, but I like to make them very value-based, meaning I offer a lot of value. I offer actionable strategies. I pretty much leave everything on the table that I can for that prospect, just to make sure that there's no question as to whether I know my stuff or not, and that they can see that I'm in abundance. So that is a little caveat that I want you guys to keep in mind. Make sure that it's a value-driven call. The second thing is the profile funnel, which I just mentioned. The great thing about the profile funnel is that unlike something like email, which is very one-dimensional, they just see your email. The great thing about a profile funnel is that it's two-dimensional, meaning if they get your message, they can actually check out your profile. In fact, most people will actually check out your profile. They will see what your mission is. They will check out your description. They will check out your connections. They will see whether you have social proof or not. Maybe they'll check out your content, right? So the profile funnel can be your best friend, or it can be your biggest enemy. But in this video, we want to make sure that it's your best friend. And so the way we're going to be doing that is we're going to be optimizing your profile. There's a few things that you want to make sure you have on your profile. The first thing is 500 plus connections. Okay. If you struggle to do that with prospects, okay, go ahead and connect with people in your space. For example, budding agency owners, for example, digital marketers, email marketers, SEO experts, etc., etc. Use the people in your space who are never going to become clients, but can give you that social proof, can give you that network effect, that's gonna build that authority for your profile funnel. 99 plus endorsements. Again, you can tap into your own space. These endorsements do not have to be given by your prospects, simply because for prospects, you want to get them on a call. You don't want them to be endorsing your skills, right? Maybe your clients could endorse your skills, but essentially, you want to make sure that you use the people in your own space and you create some type of value arbitrage where maybe you could endorse them and they endorse your skills. If you guys don't know what endorsements are, essentially on LinkedIn, you can feature your skills and then people can endorse those skills. 99 plus is literally the maximum that you can have, and it honestly looks great when you have that 99 plus on pretty much every single skill that you've got listed there. So that is that for endorsements. Then we also want to make sure we've got a very solid description on our profile. When it comes to the descriptions, you want to make sure that you have a hook. Then you want to make sure that you trigger some emotions. So maybe you talk about the typical pain points that the people who you're serving, your niche, faces. Then you give your solution, right? So problem, agitate that problem, then offer the solution, which is essentially your service, then the benefits, right? And the kind of the outcome of implementing those solutions. And then finally, a very clear call to action. The call to action should be to your scheduler. Okay, so that is that for the description. And then we also want to make sure we've got a clear mission on our profile headline. I would give you guys an example of a description, but I've seen it time and time again where people just copy it word by word. And so I want to empower you. I want to make sure that you find your own tone, your own language for your agency. And so it's actually much better if I teach you how to fish than give you the fish, at least with this training. So that is that for optimizing your profile. And the final thing is just a little caveat on the type of messaging that you want to make sure you have on LinkedIn. It should not be the same type of messaging that you're using for email. Why? Because we need to understand that we've got a profile funnel. You don't have to introduce yourself. You don't have to say, hey, my name is Jaime and I do this and this and that, right? Your profile funnel already does that for you. Your description already does that for you, right? So you can get straight into the point without beating around the bush. And also, no one believes that you're writing paragraphs on LinkedIn. LinkedIn should be kind of like texting like a 16-year-old, right? It should be punchy, it should be short, and it should be straight to the point. So that is that for LinkedIn outreach. Now we've got Instagram. So just wanted to get my phone to give you guys an example for this. But essentially, what we're gonna be doing for Instagram is what I call the Instagram video intro method. So we are going to be connecting with people straight away on Instagram, and we're going to lead them to the call with personalized outreach. What I mean by this is on Instagram, if you don't have that person following you, if you send them a message, it will come up on their message requests. Now, the reason why I like to use videos is because when you send a video to a prospect, okay, that doesn't follow you, then the message request doesn't actually show the video. So typically it sparks a bit of curiosity on the receiver to actually see the video that you've sent, because they literally have no clue as to what it could be. Like, they literally cannot see your face on that video. It's completely blurred out by Instagram for safety reasons. That is why I like the video component. Obviously, you want to make sure that you test, you iterate, see what works best for you. But for me, I've seen that the video works way better. And also, when you send a video, they can actually, again, see your face. They can hear your the way you speak, your tonality. And again, it's got so many more dimensions than just a message that you could have just copied and pasted. And so what you want to do, and by the way, if you guys are interested in this method specifically, I've got a whole video on it. I think it's like 13-15 minutes of just me going step by step on how to actually do this. But you want to get your phone, okay? And you should have looked at their bio already. Now, the bio research should be really quick. You don't need to be spending 30-45 minutes looking into their brand. All you got to do is look at their bio. Usually most brands will tell you what they stand for, what their mission is, what they actually do in the bio. So all you got to do is take that, and then you want to put together this cold video intro. Something along the lines of, hey Chris, just came across Nike. Absolutely love what you're doing in the apparel and fashion space. Love the fact that you guys are not only producing standing, amazing quality garments, but you're also giving back 10% to the whales, right? Now, I'm pretty curious, so I took a look around your Facebook ad library and noticed that you guys are not running any Facebook ads. So what I'd love to do is just jump on a very quick call, no obligation, no strings attached, and I'll walk you through some of the strategies that me and my team are implementing for our clients. Something like that, right? Something along those lines. You just basically record it, you send it over to Chris, and that should be it. Now, it should be around a 30-second, 1 minute, max 2 minutes. And the reason why 1 minute is the most ideal duration is because essentially Instagram will cut you off after 1 minute. So just for the sake of the video flowing in one single sequence, the most ideal duration will be 1 minute. So that is that for the Instagram video intro. Now, the great thing about Instagram is that, again, we've got a profile funnel. So you want to make use of your profile. Why? Because when you reach out to these people, they will go ahead and they will check your profile. That is something that instinctively people will do, and it comes down to understanding the context of the platform. What you want to do is you want to feature your mission and what you do as an agency. I've got a bunch of videos in my channel as well where I walk you through how to actually create your agency mission. It should be punchy, it should be clear, and it should state what you do, for whom you actually do it, and what sets you apart, your irresistible offer. Then you also want to feature social proof or authority. So, for example, if you say helping tech brands scale to 7 figures using the power of Facebook ads, right? Then social proof for that could be helped 17 brands in 2020 go from 0 to $1 million, right? That is an example. Or authority could be worked with 3 8-figure brands in the tech space, or something like that, right? Or work with Nike.com. Make sense? That is the way you build social proof and authority. And finally, you want to have a very clear call to action that appeals to the people that you just reached out and has essentially drives them to booking a call with you, right? So you want to have a clear call to action, booking a free demo call, discovery call, breakthrough session, whatever your name, whatever you called it, and you want to go ahead and add the link to your scheduler. So that is the profile funnel for Instagram. The great thing about Instagram is you ideally want them to follow you on your profile so that then they get top of mind awareness through constantly watching your stories. Now, you don't have to be an Instagram influencer. A lot of people think that to sign clients on Instagram, Facebook, and all these platforms, you have to have thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers, and that's just simply not the case. All you have to do is you have to have the right strategy. That is why, for example, and I know this for a fact because a lot of them actually reach out to me, I know so many influencers who have millions of followers. We're literally talking 5, 6, 7 million followers, and they're struggling to monetize because they just don't know how to structure things, right? And then there's me with 15K followers on Instagram at the time of recording this, but previously I had like 8, 7K when they would reach out to me, and I'm monetizing way further than they are. And that is because I've got a very clear structure and I've got a very clear sales funnel. So you don't need many followers, you just need to structure it well. So the reason why I say that is because if they follow your account, then you can get top of mind awareness with them pretty much every single day. It doesn't have to be every single day, but maybe 2, 3, 4 times a week. Maybe you make it a tradition on Saturdays to post a little client wins, right? So you post about your results, you post about your clients, you post about the fact that you have clients, right? If you're not getting incredible results, just show that you have clients. Make sense? And that will make it so much easier to get them to jump over that final hurdle. If you don't get them to follow you, because it's definitely harder to get someone to follow than to add you as a friend on Facebook, right? If they don't follow your account, then you can actually use story highlights as a very powerful weapon. And what you want to do is when you post a story about a client result or a client testimonial, whatever it is, you want to make sure you add it to a highlight on stories and you name it, clients or client results or wins, or whatever it is, right? So they can actually check them out when they check out your profile. That is incredibly powerful. So that is that for Instagram. Now moving on to Facebook. Facebook is a big platform, as we obviously know, and it's quite good for B2B, essentially the B2B world. I think Facebook has shifted from the kind of the Gen Z generation and it's transitioned into really almost the next LinkedIn, as well as a much older demo. So the reason why I like Facebook is primarily for their Facebook group feature. In fact, Facebook is increasingly drawing a lot of awareness and attention and driving a lot of traffic and marketing dollars to their Facebook group function. That is literally the main function and feature that Facebook is really pushing and stands for right now. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to join the Facebook groups where your prospects are likely to be hanging out. If you're going after, hopefully you're not, right? And if you're not new to my channel, then you obviously know that I'm a big proponent of the e-commerce space. But if you're doing dentists or restaurants or clinics, there's obviously going to be groups for those type of people, right? For restaurant owners, for dentists, for beauty salons, etc., etc. The same thing applies for e-commerce, right? There's going to be groups filled with people that have e-commerce businesses that are looking to grow that are looking to learn more about growth hacks, etc., etc. So what you want to do is you want to tap into these groups, you want to infiltrate them, and you want to make sure that you use that for lead sourcing, for finding leads for your agency. You can also go ahead, and this is quite powerful, you can go ahead and you can post those results, the results that you're getting for your agency on the Facebook groups that you've infiltrated. Obviously, you have to be very mindful that you're not very salesy, you're not very pushy, you're not very braggy, but you're trying to add value, especially because if the admin clearly sees that you're trying to fish in their community, they're not going to like that. They're probably going to delete your post, even though it might be seen as value. Makes sense? So you want to make sure that if you post a result, you attach a few lessons, a few strategies that you've implemented that are proven to work, so that they can take value away from it. But at the same time, it also builds your authority, social proof, and attention to your profile. Because what's going to happen is those Facebook groups and those posts that you're posting on the groups are going to drive people to your profile, which is where we're going to have the profile funnel again, right? So we're going to be driving them through the posts on the Facebook groups. We're also going to be driving them through the posts that we publish on our Facebook wall. And we can also drive them manually when we befriend qualified leads, right? What you want to make sure you do is you have a banner, mission, and content on your feed so you can control the narrative. Again, a lot of people think that you have to be this incredible influencer to post content online. That is simply not the case. As long as you share your wins, results, share the strategies that you're implementing for your clients, share some of the lessons that you're learning throughout the process, and you don't have to post daily, right? You can be smart about it. For example, on Sundays, that could be your content creation day where you write up maybe 3-4 posts for the week. That can go a very long way, okay? Now, the point that I skipped is the second one, which is befriending. You want to make sure that you add friends from these Facebook groups that you're infiltrating. And the reason why you want to do that, and the reason why I'm a big fan of Facebook, is that it's actually much easier to get someone to friend you, right, to accept your friend request, than to get someone to actually follow you back, right? Because they actually have to take an action, whereas with Facebook, they just have to accept. And so once you've got them as a friend, that's quite powerful, because now they're able to see your results, wins, and the value drops that you're posting on your wall. That is how I would go about Facebook outreach. Essentially, we start with the Facebook groups, right? We infiltrate the groups, we post content, we post value on those groups. Then we get people that seem qualified, or the people that have engaged with our content, the people that have really liked us, or the people that have actually reached out to us from the results that we post. We get them onto our profile, into our funnel, and now they start seeing the content that we're posting on our wall. That is Facebook. Now onto the sixth way to sign SMMA clients in 2021, which is the network effect. Now, this could have probably gone fast because the network effect and the network method is one of the fast methods that I actually recommend people tap into. And the reason why that is because there's already an existing network, essentially your personal network, that can be an amazing source of new clients when you're just starting out. So you want to use your personal network. We're talking friends, colleagues, acquaintances, classmates, family members, etc. You're looking for a business owner, and now you can use your network for your personal benefit. Okay. Then you want to arrange a meeting. Explain to them the benefits of your service, how you can help them. Be upfront about them being your first client, and you need an experience. I wouldn't usually, again, if you want to be very honest, upfront, right, transparent. But if they don't ask, you don't have to share this information, especially if it's a cold prospect, right? If they are within your network, that might actually build rapport. That might actually, being vulnerable might actually build rapport, and they may be more likely to help you out. So that is to keep in mind, right? And the reason why I say that is because, look, there's so many people in the space that are just getting started, and they worry about all these things that the client could say. If the client doesn't mention it, the client doesn't ask, don't say it, right? Essentially, in sales, it's very important that you pick your words carefully. And in most cases, using few but very effective words is a much more effective approach. So that is a little caveat, but you want to ensure they know you're working very hard to take their business to a new level. And the final thing is you want to leverage other people's networks. So you want to use the exponential reach of a network to your advantage. You want people closest in your network to dig into theirs, creating a viral loop. This is very powerful and something that people don't really tap into. For example, you can see this video here on the slide. And that's essentially what it looks like, right? The first point of contacts may be your personal network, right? And if you cannot find someone in your personal network, or even if you can, right, you still want to tap into your people's network. And what I mean by that is you go ahead and you reach out to your friend, right? And you say, well, is there anyone in your network who would be interested in this type of service? So now you're tapping into your personal network, but also their personal network. And most really good friends, most people in your inner circle would probably go that extra mile for you. So that is that. Again, I've left here a little script for that you can use for asking within your network. is very, very simple. Hey, friend, congratulations on whatever has happened as of recent in their life. It's very important that you actually show empathy, and that you're not just in this taken mentality, right? People really, really despise that. So you want to make sure you show that that empathy, and you congratulate them on a recent accomplishment, event. Just make sure you do your research, right, and make sure that you take some time to learn more about how their life is essentially. Then you want to tell them, just started a digital marketing agency, exciting times, but as you probably know, the initial phase is always the hardest one. So again, building empathy, which is incredibly vital. So I was wondering if you could give me a hand, since you have such a vast network. So kind of tuning their horn here. And then the question is very simple. Who do you know would be interested in growing their business? Okay? Who do you know would be interested in such service? Any help is much appreciated. Let's grab a drink soon. It's on me. Something like that, right? Again, this template is proven to work, but make sure you use your own language for just the sake of congruence on your sales journey. And finally, we've got these strategic partnerships. This is something that most agencies never actually do, and I've done this. I've created a funnel for it. I've done this extensively, and it's served me quite well. Now, I'm not saying this is my main method, but it's definitely a good tool in the arsenal, okay? So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to find people in your same space, okay, but that offer different services. For example, one of the things that I say a lot is the fact that within e-commerce, you don't have to be forced to go down the Facebook ads route. In fact, there's people crushing it in the email marketing space, in the chatbot space, in the SEO, CRO space, right? So there are many agencies who, if they're doing a decent job, right, they're probably very specific. They're probably laser focused into one single service. They're not a full scope 360 agency. So you want to find these agencies and you want to partner with agencies in that same space, but offering different services. Now, there's two reasons why this works. The first one is obviously the financial incentive. You want to make sure that financially they are being incentivized and motivated to send you over clients. What I typically do is I like to do a 60% of the first month. So I literally hand over to them 60% of the first month, no questions asked, just literally straight to them, right? Which is pretty sweet. I mean, most agencies will do like 20-30%, but I like to do 60% simply because I like to take care of my partners, and also because I have such an incredible retention rate at this point with my agency. I've talked about this extensively on my channel, but I've got around a 14-month retention rate. That is pretty high. So I just go ahead and I can take that little hit on the first month, just because I know that client is going to be worth a lot to me. So that's the first reason. And the second reason is, why wouldn't they do the job themselves, right? You might ask yourself, like, why would they just not go ahead and offer Facebook ads themselves and take the $2,500 or the $3,000 a month retainer? Why would they not do that? Well, the reason why that is because if they are a good agency owner, they understand that having a focus on your specific service is the way to success. And for them, it creates more friction and a loss of focus if they go ahead and they offer the service. They're not going to be able to get them the type of results that they want to get their clients. So that might actually hurt them, which could cost them the client, which in the long term is going to be a higher cost to them. So that is why these strategic partnerships work. So that is that for the 7 ways to sign SMMA clients in 2021. The final thing I want to cover is the musts that you must implement for success. Now, the first thing that you want to keep in mind is you want to keep it value-based. You don't want to ask for marriage. You don't want to put a ring on it if you haven't gone on a date yet, right? If you haven't gone on a date yet, why are you asking for marriage, right? Or if you start talking, why would you go ahead and bring up marriage in the first place, right? Essentially, what I mean by that analogy is I see so many agency owners bring up the potential of working together very, very early on in the process. And what I've come to realize is that usually creates negative emotions because you haven't taken the time to build that connection, to build that rapport. And again, the B2B space is all about building those human relationships. So it's very important that you avoid any talk about working together. It's already assumed that, clearly they know that you're an agency. They know that you serve the type of businesses that they are, right? But keep it to yourself, because the more you delay that conversation and the more value you add up front, the more attracted they're going to be to you, okay? So psychologically, they're not there yet to have that conversation at the start, and you must baby step them. You must baby step them with a little video on it, maybe with a little demo call, right? And maybe at the end of the call, then you can go ahead and talk more about how we can move forward together. That is the way you sign a client, right? Because then they get to a point and they're like, shit, I almost didn't feel like I was being sold. I was just being given so much value up front that it's a no-brainer for me at this point. The second thing is you want to pick the top 2 to 3 methods. So you want to watch out for feedback over 2 to 3 months. Then you want to kill 2 darlings and you want to pick 2 to 3 winners. The reason why I say that is because I'm a big fan of focus. Okay, I truly believe that to have success in business, you have to decrease complexity as much as possible and focus on 1-2 things max, right? And so I'm always trying to reduce complexity as much as possible. At the start, you can try a bunch of things. Try all these, the 7 methods that I walk you through, right? Try them all. See how the market responds to them. See what you're good at. See what you're not. Maybe you are great on video, but you're not so good at writing emails, right? See what you're good at. See what resonates with the market. Watch out for the feedback, right? Constantly iterate according to the feedback. Look out for the key performance indicators, and then you want to make sure you kill the ones that are not quite working, so you can focus all the energy on the ones that are to get exponential results. That is the way I like to go about things, right? Now, you shouldn't make decisions based on 1 week, 2 week worth of data, but keep that in mind when you're going about these methods. And the final thing is you want to book in a lot of calls. This might sound quite obvious, right? But most people struggle with it, right? And most people don't understand how important it is to get meetings booked, right? A lot of people focus on the fact that they're not signing clients, but they don't focus on the step right ahead of that, which is not getting meetings booked. Essentially, the ratio of people DMing me telling me that they're not booking enough meetings to the ratio of people telling me that they haven't signed the first client is like 1 to 100, right? And so essentially, you want to make sure that you get this first piece of the puzzle unlocked, because when you have enough meetings, I'm talking about 5-7 meetings a week minimum, then trust me, it will take care of you, right? Signing clients will be almost inevitable. So you want to make sure that you get a sales funnel. For example, I've got my automated sales funnel that I give to my one-to-one mentees, and that has literally taken my agency from 0 to 50K a month, okay? Another reason why it's incredibly important to book in a lot of calls is because when you start out, right, you might not be the best salesperson. You might not be the best person when it comes to closing people on a call, and that is completely fine. I was absolutely terrible at it, okay? But since I've had a lot of calls, you guys saw that, right, at the start, I got pretty good at it. It's the old cliche statement of practice makes perfect. So you want to make sure you book in a lot of calls, especially because the first few are not going to be great, right? So the sooner you can get those calls over and done with, the better. So that is that for this step-by-step training. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, drop a massive thumbs up, helps a lot with the algorithm, the whole channel, and I'd really appreciate it. Now, there's a few methods that I didn't cover. For example, content marketing, for example, paid ads, for example, case studies, and the list goes on and on. So if you want to continue learning more, I'd really recommend you go ahead and sub to my channel for more content on social media marketing agency, digital marketing, entrepreneurship, and a lot more. And I would also recommend you check out the description. There's a few links, there's a few places that I'm going to be sending you over to where you can learn a lot more about this stuff and get your foot through the door in the SMMA space and really crush this year. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And with that being said, hope everything's going well in your journey, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.